What's good, beautiful people? This is your guy, Tone DeShields II from Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. Sorry, you guys, we had a couple minute late start, and I appreciate you guys being here, man. Make sure you guys smash that like button on the way in. Make sure you guys smash that like button on the way out. If you guys are watching this live stream after the fact, make sure you guys hit that like button as well. Also, make sure you guys are subscribed and also make sure you guys share the content and comment below. I'm always here to check y'all thoughts. I'm always here to hear everything y'all got to say. And y'all know we love our Philadelphia 76ers. We love our Philadelphia Eagles. We love the NBA, the NFL, and all sports included. You know how we get down here at Chalk It Up Sports. So, man, you know, today is Tuesday, April 12th. And April was kind of flying by, if you ask me. I feel like we just got here. I feel like it's about to be summertime already. And it's just interesting how time just gets away from you. And the last thing you want to do is look back and question what if, or damn, I didn't take advantage of this opportunity, or I didn't take advantage of this moment in my life. Take advantage of everything in front of you. Take advantage of it. Every opportunity. If you got the chance to do something you ain't never did before, maybe you should try it. You never know. You never know where it might take you. You never know who you might meet. You never know the experiences you may encounter. You never know what you'll learn about yourself in the process. So don't be afraid of challenging yourself or stepping out of your comfort zone, you guys. It took me forever to get out of my comfort zone. It took me forever to get comfortable with other people's opinions about me. I still struggle every now and again because I'm human. But overall, I think it's important for us to take advantage of the time that we have. Take advantage of the time that we have with people that we love, and ultimately, you will get the most out of life. You can live life debt free. You can, and what I mean by that is you don't want to ever feel like you owe yourself at some point. You want to cash out every chance you get, every opportunity you get. Make sure you take advantage of it. You don't want to leave this earth you don't want to leave the earth in the negative. You get what I'm saying? You don't want to leave this planet always wondering what if you did this, what if you did that. So make sure y'all continue to spread love and positivity. Make sure you guys go after your dreams and your goals, and understand that it's all up to you and the man upstairs. You got to put in that work, and faith without works is dead. But let's get into some sports talk. Jameson Williams, the wide receiver out of Alabama, he's visiting the Philadelphia Eagles today. I think he's at the NovaCare complex, and the Eagles are essentially, making sure he's good to go for the draft, and I guess checking how healthy he is. He posted a picture on his Insta story of him being in the facility. He took a picture of Devonta Smith catching his first touchdown as a Philadelphia Eagle, and Jameson Williams, I like him as at wide receiver. I will be honest though, I am nervous about the fact that he is coming off of the ACL tear that he suffered in the national championship game, January 10th, 2022. So I am nervous about that. I'm not going to sit here and pretend as if it's not something I think about. But I think if the Eagles did draft Jameson Williams, I wouldn't be pissed off. I wouldn't be angry. I would just have mild concerns. I feel like this wide receiver class this year is pretty deep. There's some talented guys out there. And if the Eagles end up drafting Jameson Williams at 15 or at 18, I wouldn't be mad. He was, the top of his class, before the injury. And so far they're saying he's ahead of schedule when it comes to his recovery. And, in 2021, he put up 79 catches, over 1,500 receiving yards, average almost 20 yards a catch, and he had 15 touchdowns. He comes in at 6'2", weighing 189 pounds. I wish he had a little bit more size on him, and I think that's what we're missing at the wide receiver position. We're missing size. We're missing guys who have that large catch radius, and being 6'2", that means a lot to me. We need a wide receiver 6'2" or above in that 6'2", 6'3" range. I just wish that he was over 200 pounds, but at the end of the day, he has his body type, just like Devonta Smith. He has his body type, and I do expect Devonta Smith to get stronger and put on more weight. But I find myself holding that against guys a lot. Their size, and I just in my mind, and you guys, let me know if I'm tripping. I just feel like we have so many wide receivers that play the game similarly. We have too many wide receivers who are built the same. We need someone who's a game changer, right? And look, Jameson Williams, based off of his evaluations and based off the tape, they're saying he has home run hitter potential. And from what I've seen, he destroys man coverage regularly. He has all the tools to consistently beat man coverage and get separation. Now, they say at times you may need to scheme him open if he runs up against a stronger corner, a stronger DB. You never know, right? But overall, I just want the Philadelphia Eagles to make the most conscious decision that they can. I don't want them to make I don't want them to make a decision that we're going to end up regretting years down the line, or even that year, like we did with Jalen Rager. The word is Jalen Rager may be getting traded at some point. He may be a trade piece. I'm not sure how you're going to finesse that, but if Howie Roseman can somehow, some way turn Jalen Rager into some assets, then that'd be crazy. Let's get some shout outs out the way, though. Shout out to my man Eagle Slayer 95. Eagle has landed. Ryan Rowe. Eagles Realist. What's going on, you guys? Welcome to the live stream. Hey, if you guys are on the live stream, we got 8 people in here. Hey, listen, give me a thumbs up. Let me know who you are so we can give you guys a shout out. Really appreciate all the love and support you guys give me. We got 7 people on the live stream. So, Eagle has landed, says, don't sweat the ACL tear. There was no other damage to his MCL or PCL. Clean tear, according to medical experts or medical reports. ACL surgery usually repairs the ACL so that it's actually stronger than it actually is. Interesting. See, and that's the thing about the ACL that's very intriguing, because if the tear is violent enough, you can tear your MCL, your PCL, your LCL. Like Carson Wentz, when he tore his ACL, I think he tore the ACL, the LCL, and MCL. It was nasty for him. So if everything is as Eagle has landed has indicated, then okay, I can roll with that. I can roll with that. Let me ask you this: is Jameson Williams better than Treylon Burks? I'm curious. I'm curious about, honest question, because again, I want a wide receiver that can get separation, that has that big catch radius. You know what I'm saying? Someone who's strong, that can get physical. You know what I'm saying? So, like, would you guys say Jameson Williams is better than Treylon Burks? And if he is, in what ways? Because I'm a Treylon Burks fan. Eagle has landed, said yes. Okay. Got you. Eagle has landed. Chris R, what's going on? Welcome to the show. He says Jay Will is the best cornerback in his class. You mean wide receiver. You mean wide receiver, Chris. I don't know what you mean, though. Ryan Rose says James Williams has to be James Williams is physical and competitive. Okay. All right, Ryan, I got you. I'm not down on Jameson Williams by any stretch of the imagination at all. I just, that injury scares me. That's all. I just don't want us to be, buying a limit. I think that's fair. This city doesn't need a limit at all. And don't worry, Chris, we got you over here. But we don't need any limits at this point. We got too many limits at wide receiver already with Jalen Rager. Too many lemons. When it comes to JJ Arthur-Whiteside, John Hightower, when we had Travis Fulgham, lemons, just lemons, pissing me off. I got 2 Philly jerseys that are useless to me now. You know what I'm saying? And that'd be the last time I jumped the gun with jerseys ever again. I'll never jump the gun with jerseys ever again. I have a Ben Simmons City Edition jersey, and I have a Travis Fulgham jersey that I'm probably never going to wear ever again. So I don't know what to do with them. It was a waste of cash. I got super hyped when Travis Fulgham gave us those 5 games of excellence in a row. Then after that, he just fell off the face of the earth. So never again will I jump the gun on the jersey. I'm not buying nobody a jersey until they get to their second contract. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not buying nobody a jersey unless you got an MVP season with us, or if you get to your second contract, or if you go down as one of the best in our city. You're a champion. I'm not buying no other jerseys unless you make it worth my while. Eagle Slayer says he has better route running and a catch radius than Treylon Burks. Okay. Taylor Walker Devon, welcome to the show. He says, I don't know who we get at wide receiver, but Quez Watkins got to be in the top 3. I'd like Johan Dotson in the slot. Johan Dotson, I heard about him. What school did he go to? Eagle has landed, says speed, route running, yak, Jamison average yards per catch was 19.9. Burks was 16.7. Now, in all fairness to Traylon Burks, that's still a very good, average per reception. That's very good, but when you compare it to Jameson Williams, it's a whole other monster, right? Um, but overall, though, I want the Philadelphia Eagles to get guys that aren't afraid of the moment. We need guys who are big time, they're box office. But here's the bigger thing, and this pertains to Devonta Smith. Let's transition to Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith is coming into year 2, and he has to take the next step. He has to take his game to another level. And he can only do that, obviously, by his own development, but he also was depending highly on Jalen Hurts to take his game to another level. Now, look, Devonta Smith, 64 receptions on 104 targets. That's 40 catches that's unaccounted for. That's 40 catches that either were bad throws or drop balls. 40 catches. That disparity needs to drop because when it comes to Quez Watkins, he only has about a 20 catch disparity between targets and receptions. I can live with that. And the more targets you get, sometimes, the more targets you get, the more receptions you get. And sometimes that also increases the chances of the ball not getting to you because you have a high volume of targets. But can you imagine if Devonta Smith was able to get 84 receptions out of those 104 targets? We might be talking about a 1,200-yard season, 7 touchdowns, 8 touchdowns. You get what I'm saying? So it's going to be so important for Devonta Smith to take his game to another level. We need him to go above 916 receiving yards. We need him to go above 5 touchdowns in a season. He had a modest rookie campaign. For all things considered, Devonta Smith had a very decent, very good rookie campaign. He had his hiccups every now and again. He had certain games where he couldn't get up the line of scrimmage. Guys were just out muscling him, being more physical to him. Then he has games where he had those games where he was just killing guys, with the route running, constantly getting separation, toe tap swag on the million, killing the sideline catches, catching big time, having big time catches as well. So Devonta Smith, I have the utmost faith in him to do what he needs to do. Devonta Smith actually came into the NFL already polished, so all he needs is a trusty veteran to show him how to be a pro. Still, and that's why I get so frustrated about the lack of moves in free agency because we need that guy that's going to teach these young wide receivers how to be pros, how to approach the game, how to take advantage of the opponent, not just with your physical skills, but with your mental skills. It takes a veteran to show guys that you got to look off the defender. You got to deceive him with your body language. You got to deceive him with your eyes and your hips, and you have to deceive the opposition. And Devonta Smith is still learning that. Again, he came into the NFL pretty polished as a route runner, but he didn't necessarily have the size or the strength to compete with these pro level corners on a regular basis. So you had games where he was, a force, and you had games where he was, had a pretty modest showing. So Devonta Smith if he can get stronger, if Devonta Smith can, I guess add more muscle, that'd be amazing to his game. If he can become more physical at the line of scrimmage, that'd be amazing for his game. If he can win the 50-50 balls much more, that'd be tremendous for his game. We saw a flash of what winning the 50-50 ball looks like for Devonta Smith in that Denver game. He mossed Patrick Surtain. Straight mossed him. So man, I'm really looking forward to what Devonta Smith can bring to the table because he is going to take his game to another level. It's going to come back to the quarterback. Will Jalen Hurts be able to do everything he needs to do to make sure he can get that ball to Devonta Smith? Eagle Slayer says, any particular player's jersey I get either end up injury prone or leaves the team. Learned that the hard way. Yeah, bro. It's one of the worst things ever. Okay, Johan Dotson played at Penn State. All right. What are his measurables? What is he, like 6'2", like over 200 pounds? Like, what is his measurables? Wilts Duncan, he says, I need this podcast in the AM. They call you Tone because the tone you speaking always got me fired up. Hey, I dig that, Wilts. Appreciate that, Duncan. That's my man. Much love, much love. But you guys, don't you think that you guys deserve to have potent or competent wide receiver play? Competent quarterback play? Don't you guys deserve that as Eagles fans? You guys continue to support this team. You guys continue to buy the jerseys, buy all the merchandise, go to the games, eat at the games, pay for parking at the games, tailgate at the games. The Philadelphia Eagles live off of the culture we set. The Philadelphia Eagles culture does not exist without us. What doesn't exist without you, the fan. Everything you committed to this team for as long as you've been fans of this team, the generations upon generations of family, parents, raising young Eagles fans. You guys have invested in this organization. So it's only right that this organization gives it back to you guys by having competent GM decision-making, competent wide receiver play, confident quarterback play, competent defense. You dig? The Eagles cannot approach this upcoming season as if it doesn't matter, because it matters to us. It matters to you. They still want us to come out and buy these tickets, right? They still want y'all to come out and tailgate, right? Buy the jerseys, buy the merchandise. Give us a reason to do so. Give us a reason to live and die by this team. Because if you ask me, I'm still on the fence with the way this offseason has progressed. To this day, I'm going to continue to say it. I understand Howie Roseman is cheap, but you can't continue to make decisions strictly just based off the books. You got to make decisions that help improve the roster, help improve the work output for your players. You bring in a legit veteran on this team, you help the wide receivers get better because they're learning how to be pros. They're learning how to approach the game. Jalen Waddle was talking about how, what Tyreek Hill coming to the Dolphins mean to him. He said, I'm going to be his shadow. I'm going to be locked in on him. It's so important for these young wide receivers to have somebody to learn the game from. So important. Like I said, Devonta Smith, he came into the game pretty polished. Duncan says, our goal should be to give Hurts another receiver to see if he can be the franchise guy. We don't want to have to use what if. Exactly. Duncan, great point. This is a great point. The last thing we want is to sit back and wonder what if. You see, as the GM, if it was my job, if it was my role, I would do everything I can to make sure I put the ball in Jalen Hurts' court. I would make sure no matter what happens, it's not on me that this young man is not successful. And Howie Roseman has not done that. He has not made it a point to put the ball in Jalen Hurts' court. He's making it an uphill climb for Jalen Hurts. That's a fact. But if you want to see Jalen Hurts succeed, you put the pieces around him, right? If you want to find out just how good he can be with some talent, you put the pieces around him. You don't go out and get an Olympic track athlete who hasn't caught a football since 2016. You don't go and get the same player in Zach Pascal that we got in J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. Now, I believe Zach Pascal is a better player than J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. He's proven that. He's proven that he can be productive. That's a fact. Maybe at number 3 reps, but not at number 2 style reps at all. But the moves, in my opinion, haven't really been worth our while. Right? Will you agree? Now, Hassan Reddick coming in. Love that move. Kazir White. Love that move. Love it. Bring it back. Fletcher Cox on a 1-year deal. Love it. Jason Kelce 1-year deal. Love it. I love all those things. But where are the offensive moves being made? Where are the pieces being put in place to help Jalen Hurts have a tremendous season? This is going to be huge for Jalen Hurts because he has everything working against him. Everything. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed if you're new to the content. Really appreciate all the love and support. Continue to hit that like button. It really helps the content grow. Now, some of Devonta Smith's best games came up against Kansas City, the Los Angeles Chargers, Atlanta Falcons, the second game of the New York Giants matchup. He has these games where he is capable of getting open. He averaged just over 14 yards per reception. So he is a chain mover. That's a fact. But we need another guy to match up with him, a guy that can complement his skill set, that can take some pressure off him, that can open things up. Maybe Jameson Williams is that guy. Maybe it's Treylon Burks. Maybe it's Drake London. Maybe it's Christian Watson. Maybe it's Chris Olave. Maybe it's Garrett Wilson. I don't know. But like you said, Larry Marshall, like you said, his best games came up against the best. That's a fact. His best games came up against the best. Duncan asks, how do I feel about a 25-year-old Marcus Epps? Obviously looking for another safety, but he can take Anthony Harris' spot after this year. That's interesting. Now, Marcus Epps has shown that he can make plays here and there. I think he caught an interception in that Jets game. But Marcus Epps, I like him. I don't know how I feel about him getting full starter reps, but I think he has upside. I like the way he plays the game. He plays with a passion. He plays with aggression. He plays fast, plays downhill, not afraid to get physical. I like that about him. I like that. So if we get Honey Badger, that'd be cool too. Lock Honey Badger up for like a 3-year deal, something like that. That'd be great. So I don't have too many bad things to say about Marcus Epps. I also don't have too many great things. So he's in the middle ground for me. He hasn't really done anything to make me not believe in him or not trust him, right? He doesn't really get that many opportunities. He's really a special team guy. But whenever he has come in, I've always seen him. I've always noticed him. I always see him near the ball. There's something to be said about that. Something to definitely be said about that. But everything was on the line for Jalen Hurts this season. Everything was on the line. Everything is at risk because if things don't pan out for him, he can miss out on a big payday. The Eagles already made it clear based on their actions that they're very prepared, very capable of moving on from him. And I just have high expectations all the way around. Now, the word is Jalen Hurts is working out on the West Coast with guys like Tom House and Tom Brady, guys like that. But I don't question Jalen Hurts' work ethic at all. At all. You wonder what I question? And I'm pretty sure you guys question it too. But some of you guys don't want to admit it. Some of you guys question how great he can be. How great can Jalen Hurts truly be in the NFL? What's his ceiling? What's his floor? I think we witnessed his floor. His floor was this past season. That's his floor. But how great can he be? That's the question. How much can he improve? Footwork and his fundamentals and pre-snap reads and ball placement, anticipation. How great, how much can Jalen Hurts improve? I believe he will improve. I believe he will. How much is the question? Because the moves don't dictate they believe in him, right? Let me ask you guys this. Is Jalen Hurts a top 10 quarterback in the NFC? Right now. Is Jalen Hurts a top 10 quarterback in the NFC? This is where we find out how people feel about him. Granted, the NFC is not loaded like the AFC, but it's a question that needs to be asked. if he is top 10, who would you put him ahead of? Because Jalen Hurts, he does everything that you want from your starting quarterback. He's great with the media, great with his teammates. He's a leader, professional, works hard, no nonsense kind of guy, very stoic, stays very even killed. But we want Jalen Hurts to, and also he's spectacular in the running game. It's very spectacular in the running game. But we have to ask ourselves, do we want a Lamar Jackson type, or do we want a Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow type? A guy that can drop back in that pocket and deliver that pill. You dig what I'm saying? I don't want to take nothing away from what Jalen Hurts does well, but I believe that in order for him to be considered elite, he has to sharpen up his toolbox, sharpen up his tools in the toolkit when it comes to being a quarterback, making the pre-snap reads, not being a one-read guy. You know what I'm saying? Not staring down a wide receiver until he gets open. That's why DBs telegraph our plays for the most part, because Jalen Hurts has a habit of staring guys down, but he can't shake that. The thing is, I want it to be known that Jalen Hurts is on the path to success. But how patient will this organization be? How patient will they be? I don't know. I'll be honest, the only way I see the Eagles keeping Jalen Hurts long term is if he won a playoff game. And it all depends on how he wins it. You know what I mean? That's the only way I can see the Philadelphia Eagles keeping Jalen Hurts in the long term. Do you guys think he can win a playoff game? Got to ask yourself that question. Can he win the big game? Can he stick to his fundamentals as a quarterback and not resort to his instinct, and that's the run? If he can become an elite quarterback and still have that same potent level of running, oh man, that'd be deadly. That would be deadly. But it's all on Jalen Hurts. Eagles realist says, yes, I believe he can. Larry Marshall says, I think so. AK Eagle, my man, what's going on? Make sure you guys go check out the AK Eagles podcast. It's my guy. Eagles Uncensored. He's a good dude. The AK Eagles podcast. Go lock in on that. I love the logo, by the way, my brother. He says, with the right team around him, yes, sir, he can. Eagle Slayer says, can he win a playoff game with his arm is the $1 million question. Bingo. It's not just winning, right? It's not just about winning a playoff game. Like I said, if he wins a playoff game, that'll help his case without a doubt. But how he wins it is going to mean everything. How he wins games is going to mean everything. Because if he's just ripping and running all damn day, best believe they're not going to want to commit to him long term. They're just not. If they see that young man ripping and running all damn day and not letting it rip with his arm, they're not going to want to commit to him in the long term. You can bet on it. You can bet on it. Eagle Atlanta says, I need Hurts to beat Dallas and not throw to Trevon Diggs. I ain't gonna lie. Trevon Diggs definitely gave him a run for his money for sure. For sure. But don't worry, though. Jalen Hurts is going to improve. I think he will improve as a quarterback. Just will it be enough for the Eagles to commit to him long term? Will it be enough? It's not. Sometimes it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And if Hurts can win games as a quarterback with his arm, he's going to continue to stack those days. He's going to stack those weeks, stack those W's, and he'll be okay. Jalen Hurts has everything at his disposal besides the weapons, and that matters. Howie Roseman, you drafted the kid. You traded Carson Wentz because you believed in this kid, right? So all I know is if Jalen Hurts is going to take it to the next step, best believe you got to put the weapons around him. It's just that simple. My bad, you guys. I got wearing multiple hats. So anyway, let's talk about Dallas Goedert because I was thinking about him heavily yesterday. Dallas Goedert is someone who has everything at his disposal to be a great tight end, one of the best tight ends in the NFL. He's actually getting paid like one of the best tight ends in the NFL. I think he's top 5 in contracts when it comes to the tight end position. But all I know is he has to tighten up with drops. You can't be elite you can't be considered elite if you're dropping easy catches. You're inconsistent. You're not a constant threat to pop. See, he got to get himself into that Jason Kelce category. I mean, not Jason Kelce, Travis Kelce. He got to put himself in that Travis Kelce category. He got to play like that. You got to get separation like that. You got to be a dominant force like that. Duncan says, first off season, after a full season, Hurts could improve a lot. He now knows how defenses want to play him. That's true. He's technically entering his 3rd year in the NFL. He's a 3rd year veteran. That means something. Remember, let's not throw that first year out the window. He played 4 games. He was able to get a real taste of high octane NFL action. Then he played the whole season last year. And then this year he comes in as a starting quarterback. So essentially he should have he only played 15 games this past season. So 15 plus 17, that's 32 plus 4. You should have 36 starts out of him by the end of this season. 36 total starts. And if you can't tell if he's the guy by then, we got an issue. But I try to make sense of how Roseman's thinking, right, when it comes to Dallas Goedert and Devonta Smith, and we're not bringing in any other guys. It seems like he's trying to put all his chips in with Devonta Smith and Dallas Goedert, Quez Watkins, and whoever he fills in, he just fills in. Now, by him not going to get a guy, let's try to think like him. If I'm the GM of the Philadelphia Eagles, I have Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, and Quez Watkins, 3 young guys who can pop at any moment. We just need to improve at the quarterback position. And the reason why their numbers were what they were is because we ran the ball heavily, right? So if I can add in another piece, another young piece, another piece for the low, and allow Devonta Smith to take his game to another level, allow Dallas Goedert to take his game to another level, maybe he's trying to manufacture his own Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce combo. Maybe. But you have to put the pieces around them so they can develop to be those pieces. You dig what I'm saying? Even though the Chiefs had Travis Kelce, they still had Sammy Watkins. You get what I'm saying? Still had Byron Pringle. I think they still had McCole Hardman and all those guys. So you can't expect these guys just to pop if everything isn't working around them. You gotta. It's on Nick Sirianni as well. Nick Sirianni has to make it a point to scheme guys open. And here's another thing that we're probably not considering. Maybe Howie Roseman looked at the tape. He said, "You know what? Quez Watkins, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, those guys were open all the time. The problem was Jalen Hurts didn't get the ball to him." So maybe that's how Howie Roseman's looking at it, right? Is that fair to say? Maybe Howie Roseman looks at it as, you know what? I saw the tape. I watched the all 22. And I assessed these assets we have. I assessed the situation. The problem isn't the wide receivers. The problem is the quarterback. He has to improve. Is that a fair assessment? Because a lot of people say all the time, hey, Quez was open. Hurts didn't get him the ball. Hey, Devonta Smith was open. Hurts didn't get him the ball. Dallas Goedert was open. Hurts didn't get him the ball. Right? So is this team's success solely reliant on Hurts? Or is Howie Roseman cutting corners with adding talent? It's something to think about, right? It's something we have to consider. Was Quez Watkins, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, were they open more times than they weren't? And is it true that Jalen Hurts just couldn't get the ball to him? We have to ask that question. Because when you think about it from this perspective, why would I spend money on these big-time wide receivers if I don't got somebody that can get them the ball? I saw what happened with these guys. They were open on the regular. Hurts didn't see them. Hurts didn't get them the ball. Is that a fair take? I'm curious, you guys. It's 10 of y'all on this live stream. I need to know. I need to know. Is Howie Roseman justified in not spending the money on the talent because he doesn't believe Jalen Hurts can get them the ball on a consistent basis yet? Is it a fair assessment? Larry Marshall says he had also seen them dropping the ball too. Very good point. There were drops also. There were drops. There were drops. There were misreads. There was all that. It was a combination of everything. But what did you see more? You feel what I'm saying? Like, what was more consistent? Were we saying, wow, they dropped that ball? Or were we saying, wow, he missed it, he was wide open? It's something we have to think about. I believe in Jalen Hurts. I believe Jalen Hurts can take his game to the next level. I believe in him. But Howie Roseman not spending the money on the talent. Maybe he looks at it as, hey, why would I spend it if I can't even get the ball? That's a waste of cash. That's a waste of capital, right? Eagle Slayer says a little bit of both. And Boogie says, nah, you right, bro. Shout out to Birdman 951. He says number 13 on the like button. Hey, my man, I appreciate you. Make sure you guys hit that like button. And Boogie, hit that like button, bro. Make sure you got the notification bell on too. Everybody hit that like button. It really helps the content grow. But that's something we have to ask ourselves. At what point do we got to put the onus on Jalen Hurts? It's a fair question. But I believe he will improve. I believe Jalen Hurts has everything at his disposal to improve. He's a worker. He's a grinder. So I don't doubt his commitment to the game. I don't doubt his commitment to his teammates. But I'm apprehensive as to how much he will improve. I'm apprehensive to whether or not this organization will actually give him a fair shot at success. Something to gravely consider. But like I said, Jameson Williams, could he be the guy for us? Don't know. Traylon Burke, I don't know. Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, I don't know. Drake London, and I don't know. Eagle Slayer says, at least Hurts has a full offseason to study and evaluate, reading defenses to the fullest extent. Duncan says, that's a good point because Goddard can be the reason that we're not upgrading receiver. Look at Dallas. Coop, CD, but no good tight end. Very good point. Their tight end was always average at best. But you're right. You think about it because like the Eagles use their tight end heavily. So maybe they're really not looking. Maybe they're looking at it as we just paid Dallas Goedert all this money. Devonta Smith payday about to come up soon. We got Quez Watkins who put up over 600 yards, in limited action. Devonta Smith put up over 900 yards in limited action. Why would I spend the money on a big-time wide receiver? Why? I got Dallas Goedert, Devonta Smith. Those two bona fide guys right there. Quez Watkins, okay. He opens things up too with his speed. And on top of that, I saw these guys being open all damn day. Why didn't Hurts get the ball to him? Why would I spend the money on a guy that my quarterback can't get the ball to? Gotta ask yourself that question. All the Hurts fans out there, and I'm one of them. I love Hurts. I rock with him. I rock with Hurts. I'm a Hurts guy. You feel what I'm saying? I'm a Hurts guy. But the thing is, can he get the ball to these guys on a regular basis? We have to ask ourselves that question all the time. Can he get the ball to them on a regular basis? It's a question, a real one. The Observer says, what's up, y'all? I got Eagles taking a wide receiver in the first round. If Jalen ain't the guy, they have two solid young stables at wide receiver and a franchise quarterback next year, but I believe Jalen is the guy. 28 passing touchdowns at least this season. Okay. And Boogie says, I feel like Jalen is built for us, but will the organization give him the chance to better himself is the real question. That's a fact. Great point. Great point. Will the organization give him the chance? Got to ask yourself that question. Birdman says, Hurts becoming McNabb 2.0, no receivers, only one. That's a hell of a point, Birdman 951. McNabb had no weapons, and they expected him to do the most. It's sad. But let's transition to the other Philly team, the Sixers, the 76ers. Now, y'all, we played the Toronto Raptors. The Philadelphia 76ers played the Toronto Raptors in the first round. And that is going to be a tough matchup. That's a fact. It's going to be a tough matchup. The Philadelphia 76ers have a task ahead of them playing the Toronto Raptors because the Toronto Raptors are a team that they are one of the best rebounding teams in the NBA. And they're one of the top teams when it comes to offensive rebounds, to be specific. And what do the Sixers suck at right now? Rebounding the ball. And in the playoffs, it's all about that extra rebound you get. It's all about that extra possession you get. You know what I'm saying? It's all about that one turnover that you couldn't afford. And those are and that's where Toronto excels. They excel in the hustle plays. The Toronto Raptors excel at, being physical, and they have a lot of interchangeable parts on the perimeter. A bunch of long wings and perimeter guys. The Sixers have a task ahead of them. This is going to be a tough series. It will be. And the Sixers should be put on upset alert. I'm a Philadelphia Sixers fan, and I'm telling y'all, the Sixers should be put on upset alert because if they lose in the first round, Doc Rivers is gone. He's already starting to pack his bags because you can tell by the way he's conducting himself with the media. Whenever the media challenges his thoughts, he feels like he's above them. He talks condescendingly to them, and I don't like that. Like you can't be so condescending to the people that's locked in on the game just like you. Now, yes, you are the coach. Yes, you're surrounded by other coaches as well that know the game probably to a deeper depth. But to play dumb or to act like other people don't have eyes is completely unacceptable. And Boogie says, our leading rebounder is Embiid. The Raptors got multiple guys who can get the boards. They solid on all servers. That's a fact. They got guys like Siakam, Scotty Barnes. You know what I'm saying? They got so many guys that are athletic. They're going to play fast on us. The Raptors are going to play fast. And I think this is the perfect series for Paul Reed to get his feet wet. This is the perfect series. There's no, because in my opinion, Paul Reed matches up perfectly with Pascal Siakam. Perfectly. Paul Reed, I believe, is like 6'9", 6'10". And Pascal Siakam, if I'm not mistaken, he's like 6'9" as well. Him and Paul Reed are literally built exactly the same. Exactly the same. So if you can match Paul Reed up with Pascal Siakam on a regular basis, every possession, I can live with that. Pascal Siakam is going to have to run with him too. See, the thing is, Paul Reed allows us to run. Paul Reed allows us to play in transition. Paul Reed allows his team to play fast. I like DeAndre Jordan, but you got to get him off the court. He's a liability at times. He's too flat-footed. At times. And Boogie says Barnes is a headache. That's a fact. Scotty Barnes is the real deal. Birdman 951 says Doc Rivers is only a name. 76ers are not going to the championship, I'm afraid. Doc Rivers really ain't been the same dude since the Boston, man. Like, I'm starting to agree with you, Birdman. He's just a name at this point. He's also just a name. But everything is on the line for the Philadelphia 76ers this year. Everything is on the line. When you think about how this season came about with the Ben Simmons drama, and then you make a trade for James Harden, and James Harden comes with his own narrative, comes with his own turbulence, right? That man has his own orbit. You get what I'm saying? So you can't pretend like everything is not on the line for this team. James Harden, most in particular, everything is on the line for him. He has to shake the narrative that he is a flaker. He gets out when things get tough. He has to shake that narrative. He has to. He has to get this team to the East Conference Finals. He has to. He has no other option. If the Sixers don't get to the Eastern Conference Finals this year, it's going to be an issue. It's going to be an issue. Eagle Slayer says Doc Rivers will be the downfall for our Sixers. Sadly, the team's this team is too talented. You're right. You're right, Eagle Slayer. And Birdman, you're right as well. Wasting the golden years. Greatness says Barnes isn't as big a headache as the Lakers got going on right now, bro. The Lakers, man, I don't know who's going to take that job, but that's another conversation. But let's think about the Sixers' playoff history, right? Last year in the playoffs, we lose in the second round to the Hawks. We lost game 1, won game 2 and 3, lost game 4 and 5, won game 6, lost game 7 at home. Year before that, we got swept in the first round by the Celtics. Then, 2 years prior to that, we lost to the Raptors in the second round. That was when Kawhi Leonard knocked us out and won that championship. But my thing is, though, this has to be the year we rewrite things. This has to be the year that we rewrite history for the Philadelphia 76ers. This has to be the year. This Sixers team has some holes. The fact that we suck at rebounding, we suck at hustle plays, that shows up in the playoffs. James Harden has to be in shape. And then on top of that, we're going to be missing Matisse Thybulle, a guy who hustles all the time. Come on, man. This can't be life. Matisse Thybulle didn't get vaccinated. Listen, that is what it is, but damn, we had to get Toronto in the first round. What the hell? And the Observer, you bring up a great point. I talked about this yesterday. The fact that the bracket is in our favor. He says, honestly, the Sixers playoff bracket is the easiest. We got Raptors, then Atlanta or Charlotte or the Heat after that. Then championship series only, the Bucks or Nets if the Nets make it there. Right. Or Boston. Boston is the real deal too. So it's going to be interesting. Observer says, Maurice says he feels the NBA is more wide open than it's ever been. It is. It is. Oh my God, Observer, this is a great point. The NBA is so wide open, and you can't miss out on opportunities like this. If the Sixers don't win a championship in the next 2 years, the window is closed. If the Sixers don't win a championship this year or next year, the window is closed. I just don't see it happening after that. Because Joel Embiid, he is at his peak. He is at his peak. I don't know how Joel Embiid can get any better than this. He is at his peak. Like, I'm not saying he can't get better, but I don't know how Joel Embiid gets better from here. He is playing out of his mind. He is unguardable. Unguardable. James Harden has to be a threat on offense. Tyrese Maxey has to be a threat. Tobias Harris, oh my God, Tobias Harris. He has to step it up. We need to get our young guys more involved. This is why Doc Rivers pisses me the hell off. Because you got a guy like Paul Reed and Isaiah Joe, Charles Bassey sitting on the bench who are, you got two bigs and Paul Reed and Charles Bassey. Then you got Isaiah Joe, who's a perimeter shooter, and you're not letting these guys get reps. That's how you build depth in your team, by allowing these young guys to get the minutes. You don't get depth out of just nowhere. Like, this team could have been so much better if he would have allowed Paul Reed to play more. If he would have allowed Isaiah Joe to play more. Like, who cares? Just get into the playoffs. Who cares about where you get seated? As long as you're the 6th seed or higher, who cares where you get seated? Build that depth out through the regular season. You got to build it. You don't build it any other way by playing guys. You got to play guys. Like, I love Paul Reed. Like, when it comes to like he's a willing defender. He plays fast. He makes good decisions. He slashes and attacks. He's fearless. He can be a undersized rim protector. He's athletic enough. He's 6'9", long arms, great reach. Paris does everything you want him to do. Quick feet, great footwork. He had an amazing game against the Pistons. Observer says just get 2 to 3 more consistent shooting wing players, and that should honestly be a chip. If Harden decides to do what made him an MVP, score. Man, I'm beginning to question if Harden is even in shape, man. Like it seems like he just be like lagging, bro. Like, am I tripping, man? He looked like he was in shape, but he be lagging. And he been cold for the past couple weeks. He been cold, so I'm expecting he's due to get out of that slump. If you ask me, he's due. He is definitely due. But yes, Doc Rivers, his job is on the line. It is. And I kind of hate when people act like, Daryl Morey made a terrible move, a terrible trade, bringing in James Harden. My thing is, right, he traded for James Harden and gave up a guy that wasn't even playing. What did we lose? I mean, we lost Andre Drummond and Steph Curry. Those were some hurt pieces, I'll admit. But we can't act like losing Ben Simmons hurt us this year. We didn't have him in the first place, which is why Joel Embiid should get the MVP award, because Joel Embiid has carried this team all year long. He has been the most dominant player all year long. Led this team to 50 wins. Has a better record than Jokic. Like, come on, man. Let's call it what it is. Like like you can't continue to slight this man and say he's not an MVP caliber guy. Led the league in scoring. The first international player to do so. The first center to do so since Shaq in 1999. Like, averaged over 30 points. The first center to average more than 30 points per game since Moses Malone in 1981-82. And he played the fewest minutes out of per game in a season by a scoring champion. Joel Embiid is the MVP. Why wouldn't he be? I don't understand why. The Observer says, really, I think he's just coasting to the playoffs. Maybe they want 4th seed on purpose. Listen, bro, they got the 4th seed already. So, or maybe they wanted the 4th seed on purpose. Oh, got you. Yes, you're right. Maybe they did. And honestly, I'm glad they stuck there. I'm so glad they stuck where they was at, because it helps them at the end of the day. It helps them. If the Sixers aren't the number 4 seed, they're on the tougher side of the bracket. And maybe he is coasting into the playoffs. That's something to think about. I've been considering that also. Is James Harden playing slow, pacing himself for the playoffs? Is that what he's doing? We got to ask ourselves that. And then on top of that, the play-in games also gives the playoff teams extra time to rest, right? I know Brooklyn play the Cavs tonight in the play-in game. So that's going to be interesting as well. If I'm being honest, I need Brooklyn to win tonight so they can remain the 7th seed. Also, if they lose, I need them to lose out entirely. You dig what I'm saying? I don't want to play Brooklyn until the Eastern Conference Finals, but we got to get there first. I don't want to deal with Milwaukee until the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't want to deal with Boston until the Eastern Conference Finals. I want to wait. I want to get our lumps in Toronto. I want to get our lumps in Miami, and then we knock off the 2 better defensive teams, and then we move into the playoffs. I mean, move into the Eastern Conference Finals. That's how I'm looking at it, though. But the bracket is set. What can we expect from our Sixers against the Toronto Raptors? Like I said, the Toronto Raptors, they're a significantly better rebounding team. They play harder. They play faster. They got a better effort. And on top of that, they can switch. That team is built to switch all over. They can switch so many different guys on James Harden, on Tyrese Maxey. They have so much length on the perimeter. They have so much length. But Joel Embiid can dominate anybody on that Raptors side of the ball. None of them can guard him. But Matisse Thybulle not being there changes things, man. It changes things. Like the Raptors, like from a matchup standpoint, it's going to be tough. They have so many guys who arms to stretch around the earth. So they're going to clog the passing lanes. They're going to be physical. You know what I'm saying? But the Sixers got to do everything they can do. And it's just that simple for me, you guys. But, we got a few more minutes left in the show. We're about to close it out. I really appreciate you guys for being here. As always, we got 10 people on the live stream. Make sure you guys smash that like button. You guys have truly made this worthwhile. You guys always, challenge my thought process. You guys make the show that much more entertaining. And, the Sixers, the Eagles, they both had tall tasks ahead of them. The Eagles when it comes to this draft, the Sixers when it comes to this playoffs. I have high expectations. And Boogie says if we want to win, we need Maxey to show up and Harris. I need at least 3 to 4 threes from Harris every game. Agreed. I agree on that. I agree. The Observer says, what do you think Harden comes out and scores a series points per game? I think Harden averages about 25 points per game in this series. 25 or 26 points per game. That's what I think. I think he averages about 26 points per game in this series, averages 9 assists. And remember, you got to account for those games where actually he averages 11 assists. You got to account for those games where he might go 36 and he might put up 21 points. So it's going to average out. You feel what I'm saying? So I expect big things from Harden in this series. I think he knows what's on the line. He knows. And Observer, you brought up a good point earlier. Maybe he's coasting into the playoffs. He knows what's on the line. He knows what's at stake. And he can't afford to let this new team fall off. He can't afford it. He left, he moved on from OKC, moved on from Houston after a long stint with them, moved on from Brooklyn after a short stint with them. But overall, Harden has to be efficient. He has to make good decisions, and he can't look to get fouled. Harden has to be aggressive and make them foul him. Don't look for it. Just make them do it. Be so aggressive. Be so physical that they have to foul you. Get your damn feet off the ground. It seems like Harden barely can jump now. I don't know what's going on. I do not know what's going on. But you guys, I really appreciate y'all being locked in. Make sure you guys smash that like button while you're here. If you guys are watching the show after the fact, make sure you hit that like button as well. Also, make sure you guys comment below. Like I said to you guys, I'm giving you guys Chalk It Up Sports daily, Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern time in your lunchtime hour. So make sure you guys dive in. Make sure you guys lock in. Keep that one AirPod in. Keep that one AirPod out. If you're at work, make sure you guys get home safely. If you're in school, get home safely. Make sure you guys pay attention. Make sure you guys learn something new. Make sure you guys continue to challenge yourselves and always seek opportunity and always learn from your past experiences. There's nothing more that I can really say about it, but I love you guys, man. I'm your humble host, Tone DeShields II from Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or we lose, we just got charged to the game. One love, stay humble, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay hungry. And we out of here.